What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to the TV Toycast YouTube channel. And today we're going back to the world of Springfield, but not literally because it's not the Playmates line, but it is the Simpsons from Jakks Pacific. It is Wave 3. It is Marge and Maggie. Kind of a cool, I guess you could call it a two-pack, although it's really not because Maggie is almost more like the accessory, which is kind of cool, though. But yeah, loving the new Simpsons figures from Jakks. Wave 5. I ordered from a website called unbox, and those have shipped, so I should have those soon. Still have to unbox all of the rest of Wave 3, because this is the first one from Wave 3, and then Wave 4. So I got a lot more Simpsons left to unbox. However, I will say, I'm going to put this out there because I think it's kind of cool. I'm finally seeing Wave 2 at Targets. I'm seeing Krusty and Mo and Lisa, and I've seen them at multiple Targets. So that does give me some hope that all these figures are coming. They're just taking a while. So I know this has not been the most fun line to collect because it is a little frustrating at times when you're not, especially when you're not seeing anything. So if anyone out there does have stress with it, I definitely understand. But of course, Marge in her signature green dress with her blue hair, very tall, of course. And Maggie looks like it's got a little articulation there, kind of in the waist, which is kind of fun. Again, not the most expensive figures, but I don't think they need to be. For what they are, I think they are absolutely perfect, but they do have articulation, more than the Playmates line had for sure. Of course, we got Homer and Bart, and then Marge and Maggie up on the top of the box there, and Lisa there on the side. I love the image there of the figure, the actual figure getting with Marge and Maggie right there. And then, of course, quite a roster for Wave 3. We got a home run Homer or baseball Homer, always kind of cool to get a variant of a classic character. Marge and Maggie, Milhouse with his bicycle, and then of course Lenny looks like he's got a coffee mug and a sack lunch. Lenny maybe a little early in the line to get him, but why not? Why not get some of Homer's friends? I know Carl's in Wave 4, which is kind of fun. But these are great. It's kind of crazy because I believe like last fall of 2024, these were starting to hit. And I know a few friends that were like, yeah, I may pick them up. But I don't think they or myself, either one of us, expected Simpsons Mania to kind of hit like it did. And everybody's jumping out trying to get these and being like, oh, I got to get all these figures. And of course, they also have the 2.5-inch scale, which I did unbox Itchy and Scratchy recently and put them, because they're probably height-wise about the same size as Maggie. So I feel like they fit into this based on, the fact that they're animals. So if we ever get a single release of Poochie, I think that would be kind of a good way to put him in there. I'll definitely be picking that up, or like the robotic Itchy and Scratchy, although they were a little bit taller, so I don't know. Your mileage may vary. I guess we'll see what happens, but these are great. I wish they were a little bit easier to come by. I know I Am Retro does the 4-packs, and I pre-ordered Wave 4 and got those in, and now I pre-ordered Wave 5. And that's probably what I'll do from their website because, to me, it was a little bit more expensive, but it's nice to know that I'm going to get all 4 of them, and they're going to be here. Initially with Wave 4, I wasn't going to pick up Blue Shirt Bart because I'm like, I don't need that. I love a good variant, but I don't need a slight variant. But I went ahead and just bought the whole set because I thought, you never know. And realistically, I think I've seen Bumblebee Man once, but the rest of them I haven't seen, so I feel like that was a good decision. But again, any line that's a little hard to collect, it does get a little frustrating sometimes. So, but all in all, these are a lot of fun, and I'm glad to continue to add them to the collection. I've gotten, I think Wave 1 I unboxed regularly, but the rest of these I've gotten to do on the channel here, which is good. And we got a couple of more premium figures coming, or deluxe, whatever you want to call it, kind of based on the Treehouse of Horror. We got a King Homer, kind of like a King Kong version of Homer, and a Fly version of Bart. So I think those are perfectly cool as deluxe figures. I know we unboxed Vampire Burns on here a while back, as well as Radioactive Man. So, more like that. Let's make it happen. I dig it. So, of course, getting these things out is never easy. Mint in box. A lot of us say mint on card. I guess this is technically mint on a card, but it's also in a box. Packaging's a lot different now than it used to be, though. It's back in we always say mint on card, but back in the days of Toy Biz X-Men and WWF Hasbro and Kenner Batman, that really was literally a figure on a card, and that was it. So it wasn't really anything to worry about. See, like this, I feel like I could break this figure if I'm not careful because of all these twist ties. Well, that one came off pretty easily, but they don't make it easy with these twist ties. Oh, that one came off. Good deal. Is Maggie twist tied in? Hopefully not. She might be. Well, no, she's just in there tight. And, the crazy thing is, too, with the twist ties, I feel like they're deterring thieves, but in my experience, and again, I could be totally off here, There's a nice look at Marge there. A little loose on the head. I may have done that myself, so no complaints on my end. But I think these people are buying the stuff and taking it home and then trying to break into it. So I don't think they're doing it in a store. So I don't think the twist ties is hurting anybody. It's just going to make it a little bit more difficult. Not bad looking. Maggie, she does have actually a pretty decent amount of articulation. Her arms, her head, and then kind of at the waist. It looks like she's made as though she could stand up to or be held, which is kind of fun. Marge does have very small feet, and we learned with that Batgirl I did recently, the small feet does not make for standing up good, so we'll see how Marge does. Ooh, not looking good. Very loose ankles, and I think that's also a contributing factor to the not being able to stand up well. Oh, there we go, not too bad. There's Maggie, make her look straight ahead. I don't hate these. I don't hate these at all. I think this is a really fun line. You know, I think they took what Playmates did, because these are actually in the same scale as Playmates, if you guys have not heard. And they added a little articulation and kind of figured out a way to do it without making it look totally different. So good on Jakks, you know. And what's funny is Jakks specific, any of us wrestling fans out there know, obviously they did wrestling figures for many, many years. But then, like, I didn't hear anything about them for a long time besides, like, those TV games from back in the day. Those were, that's a different story in of itself. But you know, we didn't hear a lot about Jakks until Mario. They started doing the Mario and Sonic figures, and they do a good job with those. But man, I feel like they're clicking on all cylinders with Simpsons, and I'm loving it. We already have 5 waves, and I think 5 deluxe figures. I hope we get more announcements. We didn't see anything at SDCC, but that's okay. I've said before, I don't know if SDCC is the best time to announce anything, because I feel like so much is announced, so much is lost in the shuffle. Like, I know they announced the second wave of Scooby-Doo, and a lot of people didn't even know about it because there's so much being announced in one weekend. It's a little bit overload. Like, you need to... It's always good to announce something when nothing else gets announced, and then, like, everybody kind of flocks to that news, you know? Again, my 2 cents, I guess. But now these Simpsons figures are great. Obviously, Millhouse, Lenny, and Home Run Homer will be coming up sometime very soon in the channel. And then Series 4, we got Blue Shirt Bart, we got Carl, we got Barney, and we've got Bumblebee Man. So it's a very eclectic series. A lot of heavy hitters we haven't got yet. I think Wave 6 they announced was going to be Mr. Burns. Gosh, I can't remember. It was 4 figures. One of them was going to be like a sick version of Homer, which might be kind of fun, and a couple other characters. Stupid Sexy Flanders when he's skiing, which that's a weird one, and I'll tell you why, because we haven't got regular Flanders yet. Does that bother you? That bothers the crap out of me. And I always think back to, like, okay, if you give us stupid Sexy Flanders, but we don't get regular Flanders, I'm going to lose my mind. And I'll tell you why. Because you always want to hit your heavy hitters first. And that was something that always bothered me about the Super 7 line. I understand you want to go and get your Poochies and Robotic Itchy and Scratchy and all that, and that's great, but you have to get your main line in first, otherwise the line will just feel weird. And I feel like that's kind of what happened with Super 7. And obviously they didn't expect the line to end when it did, but you know, we got Devil Flanders from Super 7, but we never got regular Flanders, so it's like, okay, what are we doing here? Let's see if Marge can hold Maggie here. See how good that does. But well, we'll see if she can balance standing up holding Maggie. If not, I do feel like getting Maggie in this form is kind of cool. It's a nice bonus. It's a nice bonus for a figure. And Marge, honestly, would have been kind of a hard one to include a accessory with. I know in the arcade game, she had a vacuum cleaner. Do you guys remember that? That was like her weapon. Bart, of course, had a skateboard, and Lisa had her saxophone. There we go, that works. And Marge had a vacuum cleaner. Homer just used his fist. But I'm like, I think if Marge had a vacuum cleaner, that might get some heat, being like, oh, wait a minute, because she's a woman? It's like, well, no, it's because that's what she had in the arcade game. But I think Maggie's a much better accessory. And honestly, too, I think a lot of people would have been upset if Maggie came by herself. Now, you probably could have packed Maggie with, I don't know, with Santa's Little Helper, Snowball 2, some of the pets, and that kind of, like, okay, that works. But I know Star Wars did this a few years ago where they made Baby Yoda his own figure, and everyone was like, wait a minute, $25? Are you kidding me? Like, don't insult me here. Like, everyone kind of got up in arms, which I definitely understand. But I think, to me, this is a perfect way to do a 2-in-1. I love it. And also, too, another thing I didn't like about Playmates back in the day is Marge came with a living room. That was the only way to get a regular Marge figure, which you had to buy the playset. The playsets were great, but how many of those do you need? I think they made like 30 of them, and it's like, okay, the living room, I'm with you. Krusty Studios, okay. The Quickie Mart, sure. Do I need Krusty Burger? Do I need, KBBL Studios? No. Like, it becomes a little much and just a way to get more figures, and definitely not a space saver. So the way Jakks is doing, I definitely dig it. So, but more Simpsons will be coming up on the channel, so it should be a lot of fun. Of course, last week had a lot of great unboxings right here on the channel. On Monday, I mentioned it already, Batgirl from Batman the Animated Series and McFarlane Toys. That was unboxed Monday. Not the greatest, but it was fun, and I do enjoy Batman the Animated Series, so fun to talk about. I dove into the Cerazoic Warriors with Range Brachian, the second Cerazoic Warrior. If I learn which one I'm talking about, that was a really cool figure. I love the color on that one. Those figures get better each unboxing. I just love them even more each time. And then on Friday, Atsushi Onita from Epic Toys and the Wrestling Megastars line. So definitely an eclectic group of action figures unboxed this week. So check those out. And then, of course, on Monday, I unboxed Lex Luthor from the Super Friends line. So check that out as well. And then, of course, check out What's on the Pegs, dropping every Saturday to kind of check out my toy hunts. And once a month, Tales of the Toy Box. It should be up by now. If not, it will be up very, very soon. And as episode 5, all about He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. Check that out as well. And also, check out TB Toycast on TikTok. I recently started I got back on the TikTok because I think me and Travis both got logged out. And TikTok's kind of weird about that, and I started posting full lines. I started with He-Man, and I posted all 8 figures from Series 1. Got a pretty good response. I think people dug it, so expect more of that on the TikTok, and who knows what else. So follow us on TikTok at TB Toycast. Also, check out the TB Toycast podcast, dropping every Thursday. Me and Travis do a deep dive on a specific toy line, as well as all the news and happenings in the toy world that particular week. That is it. That is all I got. Thank you guys for checking out the TB Toycast YouTube channel, if I can say that right. That's Marge and Maggie Simpson, and we will see you in the toy aisle.
Yeah. One more time. It ain't over till I say it's over. So lock the cage up, cause this is a takeover. The wait's over. If this the final time we meet, then you'll be on your back on my feet. Then I'll tip the cage over as a hangover. I'm super fly so I can splash off the top. And I can shut down the shot.